Welcome back to my latest raid farm tutorial. Now, first things first, I owe everyone who built my last raid farm an apology. I left out one bit of crucial information. You either have to tear down mountains or you have to build in a flat biome. I owe everyone who had a problem with an apology. I'm new at this. I left out one piece of crucial information. I learned my lesson. I take notes. Now I have a whole page of notes here for this farm tutorial. I especially owe an apology to Slack Lizard. He had a terrible time. If you haven't watched his videos, please go watch it. Please know my farm works. You just need to build it in a flat area. With that said, let me show you how this farm works. Here we have a single villager village. Watch what happens if I get bad omen. Notice how fast that cycled. This is the second wave. We're just a few seconds in. Literally, I'll cycle through the waves as fast as the raid bar will load. Now, what's happening here is I'm using the same bug that destroys iron farms. I'm using it against the raid farm. I'm causing the pillagers to switch villages. There's another village right there. This is the village in raid. That village is not in raid. When I force the pillagers to join that village, they don't join as raiders. They join as hostiles. They are dwellers in that village now. Because there are no spaces for the raid to spawn on within this village, they are forced to spawn because raids will spawn from build height to bedrock. If there's nothing for them to spawn on, they'll spawn on bedrock down there. So I'm forcing them to spawn outside of this village. They spawn in the closest village to them. However, that village is not in a raid, so they don't spawn as raiders, they spawn as hostiles. The third category of dwellers. First category is villagers. Second category is defenders, which means iron golems. The third category is hostiles. The fourth category is cats, or neutral passive mobs. This farm will complete a 7-wave raid in under 2 minutes. That's 3 times faster than most. You see that? We're already hero of the village. It was like 2 minutes. Now, I did a poor job of designing this. This is my test world, and they're spawning all over the ground. However, I've solved that issue for the actual farm. But here's the second village. And they spawn in this village. Let me show you in the NBT data. Let me spawn one more raid. And we'll jump over to Universal Minecraft Editor. And I will show you the difference between these two villages. Whoops. What am I doing? Okay. We'll let the raid bar fill up. Okay. Alright, here we are in UME, Universal Minecraft Editor. You see in the top left hand corner, Universal Minecraft Editor. We'll click the files right there. Now you'll notice that we have 2 villagers. First 4 are one village, and the next one are the next. Now you'll notice 1, 2, 3, 4 folders in this village. However, in this village, you'll notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folders. This is the raid folder. If you have this folder, that village is currently experiencing a raid. You see right here, it currently lists the number of entities in the raid. Here is the village that's not in a raid. It has 1 villager, no golems, no cats, because cats require 4 beds and only have 1. Obviously, it's going to have no golems because 10 villagers, 21 beds minimum. However, watch this. 27 entities. You saw all the raiders on the ground. This village, no golems, 1 villager just like we expected, no cats, no hostiles. That's because the hostiles are part of the raid folder. So this is the hostile folder. Sorry. If a hostile joins it because a raid is won or lost, any hostiles left over from a raid join this folder. They are actual dwellers of a village. So we're forcing them to switch from one village to the next so that it speeds up the raid. That's how this farm works. Alright, step 1 is obviously find an outpost. You may recognize this outpost from the last tutorial. That's because I already have it saved. Now, make sure it's in generally flat area. If you want to build in a mountain, you're going to be sorry. I won't stop you, but you'll be sorry. You'll have to tear down so many mountains. So many mountains. Now, once you have an outpost in a nice flat area, check around it. 100 blocks in every direction. Do I have an iron farm? Do I have a breeder? Do I have a village? Luckily, that one is far enough away. So it's 170 blocks or so, if I remember correctly. Do I have an automatic crop farm? If you have anything with villagers and beds within 100 blocks of this, this is the wrong outpost for you. Or you need to tear down the problem. Any farms that involve villagers, breeders, iron farms, whatever, move them or pick a different outpost. Now, if you remember from my last raid farm tutorial, I want to stress again, flat area, one more time, just flat area. You remember from my last raid farm tutorial that I explained how to identify if your outpost has multiple spots. If you don't know how to do that, please go watch that. This one will have 2, obviously, because it extends over the chunk border. If you don't know how to find this how to find the spawn spots, please go watch my last raid farm tutorial. It shows you how to do it. If you don't have access to a chunk resource pack like I do, if you're on Nintendo or Xbox, because Xbox, the new Render Dragon engine, broke your shaders. It's terribly unfortunate. I will have a link in the description of a slime chunk finder. If you type in your coordinates, it will show you where in the chunk you are located. You can use that to identify the chunk borders. The link will be in the description. So if you're on Nintendo or Xbox or mobile and you don't have access to these type of shaders, and you're like, how do I see the chunks? Well, I'm going to link you a slime chunk finder. It'll also show you where the slime chunks are because they're all the same on every seed. But like I said, if you type in your coordinates, it'll show you how close or how far you are away from the chunk border. So that will help you identify your chunk borders. And you can use it not only for this farm, but for any farm that needs to be chunk aligned. Now, once you have identified your spawn spots, you identified what type of outpost you have, whether it's 1, 2, or 4, you need to take this measurement right here, the very top of your outpost. Mine is 90, yours may be different. Yours may be 82, yours may be 110. They vary based on terrain. So you will need to take this measurement because all the measurements I use will be based off of this. I will tell you how many plus or minus from this number that the measurement is taken from. So that's super important that you remember that this number. It's 90, but it may be different in yours. So the next step is tear down the outpost. Outpost torn down. You will have watched the last tutorial to learn how to find your spots in case you don't know where they are or you don't have a chunk resource pack. Check the description. Now, you have your 2 spots marked. You're in here. You're going to need to spawn proof them. I suggest using glass, like this, because if you go 24 blocks away from there, you're going to have a pillager spawn. And during construction, that is super annoying. If I put glass there, I can go away. Nothing happens. If you don't have glass and you say, oh, I need more whatever, bam, pillager. So spawn proof those. Finish tearing down the outpost. Clear up all this mess. And we'll get to the next part. Alright, now that we have that cleared out, we're going to ignore this part for now. And like I said, this is a different type of raid farm than you've ever seen anyone else build before. And I mentioned that you need to find your chunks, because this farm is chunk aligned. We are not going to build water streams over these 2 chunks. I'll explain why later, but it's to increase the rate of bad omen. My friend Dr. Jan Cyan helped me with this part. The guy's a genius. Go follow his YouTube channel. Links in the description. His mob farms are some of the best mob farms you will find anywhere on YouTube. He hasn't made a video in a while, but trust me, he has a big project coming up. So, this chunk and this chunk, this is going to be relatively the center of the farm. I want it to be relatively the center. So come here, and kind of just find where you think the average ground height is. And you're going to dig out 60 by 60. We're going to do it with commands because we're lazy. Now, once you have a 60 by 60 area, you want to make sure that it's in the next chunk over. It needs to be next to these chunks. These chunks need to be free. If you have 1 spot, it only needs to be 1 chunk. If you have 2 spots, it needs to be 2 chunks. And if you have 4 spots, it needs to be all 4 chunks. These need to be open. Do not build in these areas. Do not place your water streams in these areas. Build your water collection system here, or on that side of the chunks, or on that side of the chunks. Definitely not towards the village. Build your 60 by 60 area. Now this has to be so wide because of the way the lower village is. The lower village is here, and raids like to spawn in a 36 to 54 radius of the village. They're going to spawn out to 54 blocks. We need to make sure that we capture all of them. So that's why this is so wide. You need to terraform the ground. Just build a 60 by 60 flat area like this. This is why it's important to build in a flat area. You don't want to build this in mountains. We don't want to dig forever. This farm requires little to no blocks, actual blocks, other than just a couple of stacks of glass probably, and a couple of beds and a couple of villagers. And then a few pistons and redstone for the trident killers. Oh, and some leaves. So when you're cutting down those trees, make sure you save the leaves. Now we're going to want to go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to want to do that on each corner, and you're going to want to dig out that area. We're going to do it with commands. Let's see, I would take off 14, so it would be 45. We'll check that to make sure we did it correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are temporary blocks. Obviously, I'm just using them to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to do the exact same thing again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once again, we're too lazy to dig, so we're going to use commands. Because water flows 8 blocks in the overworld, let me just show you where we're at right here. Okay, we're going to do that one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll check just one this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this right here should be 8. Should be 8 by 8. Or it should actually be 18 by 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll have a hole here in the middle. Let's check that they're actually correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Like I said, these are temporary blocks. Go back and break them. Now that you have all your temporary blocks cleaned up, you should have something like this. It should be 4 layers. You have a middle 2 by 2 hole surrounded by a 18 by 18 hole. So it should be 8 between here and there. And then 7, 7, 7. This is going to be for your water collection system. These don't have to be smooth stones. They can be dirt or whatever you've dug out of this hole. This is to keep your water straight. And when it gets time to put the water in here, just build the infinite water supply. It's really easy to place the water. Now it's time to get ready to place the villages. You're going to want to come to the middle of the farm. And you remember our number 90 from earlier? We're going to want to go to 148, and that's plus 58 from the top of your outpost, the Y value. Your outpost is obviously over there, but you're going to want to go up 58 blocks, exactly higher than your outpost was. 58 blocks. So we're going to go to 148. Six, 47, 48. Now you're going to want to walk it back one like this. Now, place down your villager bed. Now you're going to want to bring up your villager. I suggest using a bubble column with sand, soul sand at the bottom. Your choice though. Use rails or whatever you want to use. Then at nighttime, your villager will link to his bed, creating a village here. You will encase him in glass. Now that you have your villager there, the leaves are super important, and he's exactly where he needs to be. Now for your second village, we're going to do this before we put the water in, because after the water it becomes extremely hard. And we are far enough away that he will not link to that bed. So he creates a second village, or she. Villagers don't have a gender. Dig down below. You see this villager right here? You're going to want to dig down below 12 below him. If you're going to have a collection system down here, it has to be below the village. In my previous videos, I've explained that villages are 64 by 24 by 64. So you have to dig down below so that you are outside of the village. The physical size of the villages are 64, 24, 64, which means that vertically that they are 24, so half of that is 12. So we're going to dig down 15. Remember, this is Minecraft, don't dig straight down. So now we're here at Y50. Obviously this gravel is going to be a problem. Now I'm not going to show you how to build a collection system. I built this trident from Navy Nexus. I will put a link in the description. Go to his video to learn more about this trident killer, how to build it exactly. If there's any issues with it, go there. He'll discuss the issues with it. I'm going to show you how to build it very basically. But for a more in-depth, go to his channel and watch the trident tutorial video. It works exactly like this. Gravel, I hate you so much, gravel. Everywhere gravel. And then obviously we'll have one there. We'll have one here and one here. Now, in his video, he'll show you how to put the hopper minecart under there and the rails in the collection system. I'm not going to do that because I'm not trying to step on his video. However, I do like the trident killer. It's very simple. I'm just not going to show you how to build his tutorial. Alright, you put torches on the side like that. Come back in, fill your blocks in. Now, we're having an underground trident killer is very helpful, is that there's simply nowhere for the mobs to glitch to. There are no, that's solid block that way. There's nowhere for them to glitch to. We need a glass block. So put your glass blocks in right here. And now you have your underground system. We also need a trident killer. A trident for the trident killer. Now in Nexus's video, he shows you throwing, I don't know, about 4 or 5 tridents, that's fine. Now, you're wondering, how do we access that? Oops, sorry, went the wrong way. Where is the outpost? Oh, here it is, okay. You'll line up here. You're like, how do I access that? You'll line up with whichever side you built that on. And then just build you a tunnel down. because we're low enough, we're below the actual village, you won't get raiders spawn down here. Wow. Okay, look at that. That's nice to know that's down here. And you'll build your storage systems and anything else you want to right there. However, you won't be AFKing down there, so it doesn't really matter. Put you some ladders or some scaffolding or whatever you want to get up and down right there. Now that all of that is complete, it's time to add the water. And like I said, just build you an infinite water source. And if you did everything correctly, it should look exactly like that. Remember that we have a villager here and a villager there. Okay, now it's time to figure out how we're going to get Bad Omen. Alright, let's talk about our structure spawn. These are our 2 structure spawns. Now, we want to improve our rates of getting Bad Omen. So we want to improve our chances that we get a captain, and then we kill the captain and all pillagers as quickly as possible. But we also want to spawn more often. So, unlike a traditional raid farm, which has the water streams over the top of these, that's why we built to the side. The way the game algorithm works is that the game attempts to spawn a regular hostile mob. I mean, zombie, skeleton, creeper, enderman, that kind of thing. And if it can attempt it, even if it fails, then we will get a structure spawn in the same tick also. However, if no attempt can be made because we've put slabs down in this chunk or this chunk, then we will get no structure spawn on that tick. I repeat, we will get no structure spawn. So we don't need to slab, we don't need to carpet, and we don't need to have water covering these 2 chunks. Everything else is fine. Glowstone, torches. If the spawn attempt fails, that's okay. What I do not need it to do is to not attempt. A non-attempt would be carpet, slabs, water. A failed attempt means that the light level would be wrong, which would be fantastic because we obviously don't want a bunch of zombies and creepers and stuff right here. So just spam torch it up around here, and then that'll be great. Now that we've covered a way to increase our rates by not blocking spawns, not blocking attempts. Now that we've discussed how structure spawns work and how we're going to increase Bad Omen, let's actually build our spots. We aren't going to need that for a minute. We are, however, going to need some stone. Oh, big block, okay. So we're going to bring these up. Now, remember that our original outpost was 90 blocks. And pillagers can spawn up to 3 blocks from the top. However, we're not going to push it that far. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room. And we're only going to go up to 86. Now that's -4 from the top of the outpost if you're keeping track. From your original number. 86. Now, you're going to want to put in order for a pillager to spawn, they need a block to spawn on. So this is the block they spawn on, so air. This is the block that pushes them from the block, and this keeps raids from spawning on it. So air, glass, leaves. Once again, air, glass, leaves. Now we're going to want to build a water collection system for these and a trident killer. So remember that this is north towards the village. And in 1.13, people are reporting that Insta push is broken. It's not broken, it just pushes from a different direction. Some people are reporting north, some people are reporting west, some people are wrong and reporting east and south. They're wrong. So just go down 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the 5th block, put that. Connect it to here. Also connect this one. And then do one more layer. And then we're going to build, oh sorry, one more right here too. And notice that it's one layer right there. And you're going to do this all the way around. Okay, so it should look like this. Now these are full height. These right here on either side stop at 1 block below because you do not want to block the north or the west. And you don't really want to block it on any sides. Leaves around all around. Water bucket here. Water bucket here. Now come find the middle of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Add a second sign like that. Oh, my controller died. Let's see. Once again, we're going to build the same exact trident killer that we built below. Oh, I guess I put those on backwards. No, that's right. Now, if you want to put a collection system on this, you can. I consider all these drops trash because it's just crossbows and arrows and banners. I end up throwing them away anyway, so I don't collect them. So now come here. Get your scaffolding. Get your leaves. And most importantly, get your trident killer. Your trident for the trident killer. Throw about 3 or 4 in here. You're all good. Let's line this up right here. Okay. So we're going to go up to 138. Let me check my notes to make sure that's right. Yes, 138. So you're going to be a plus 47. Or plus 48, rather, from your original number. We're way high. So we're going to go up to 138. So plus 48 from the original structure. Now notice that on your way up, you can, that's the on and off for the farm. Oh, did I say 138? I meant 137. Now we're going to count out 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is going to be our AFK spot. Now, I would highly recommend that you build a little house out of leaves here so that you don't get attacked by phantoms. So that, you know, you're just generally safe up here. Otherwise, you'll get knocked off. Now, I'm not going to do that, but you can, and I would recommend you do it. I am, however, going to turn this on. You are going to see pillagers spawn down there. And as soon as we get a captain, you see how fast they're spawning? That's because we didn't block any spawns on those chunks. That is so important. I cannot stress that enough. No slabs, no water, no carpet. You see how fast we got Bad Omen? Now watch this. Watch the raid cycle. This is insanely fast. This is the village in raid. This is the village not in raid. You see how fast we got Bad Omen again? Look at those pillagers spawn. Now, if you need arrows really badly, go ahead, by all means, collect those. But they're garbage. You'll have 10 chests in like 30 minutes. So don't bother collecting those. I mean, you literally see how fast we're cycling the raid. You will find no faster. I don't care if it's a quad raid farm. I don't care what. This is literally the fastest. We're cycling through a raid in 2 minutes. We're using game physics here. We're using the bugs that Mojang won't fix. We're going to use them against them. I mean, we can't see the raiders because they're so far away. Look at that. Look how fast we're just stacking Bad Omen. As soon as this raid's over, the next Bad Omen, and we'll trigger another raid. Look at this pillager spawn. I wish I could see the raiders. We'll fly down in just a minute when the raid's over. I mean, look at the efficiency of this farm. You won't find this in any other farm. Look at that. 2 minutes for a raid. Let's fly down here and turn this off before we go visit our bottom village where we have raiders everywhere. Look, the raid is over and they're not killed yet because we tricked the game. They don't know that these guys are still alive. And once you build your collection system, all the drops will just be automatically down here waiting on you. Look how insanely fast that is. Like, we already cleared the raid. We could already have another raid started before this raid is killed. We're talking 2 to 2.5 minutes per raid. So that's the farm. If you have any questions, here I am on my testing realm. As you can see, this works on a realm. No issues. I tried to do raid tests on this. I couldn't figure out how to get a command block and hopper to work fast enough to accurately record this. Maybe someone else can. I couldn't. If I figure it out, I'll post it in the description. So I have no idea how fast this is. I mean, it's ridiculously fast. That's the only number I can give you, is just crazy fast. Also, one more thought on this is, depending on where your original outpost is in this chunk right here, will determine where your AFK spot is. So you may have to adjust this number in or out depending on where your outpost was, because your spawn spots may be forward or backwards. Also, you may have 4 of them, so keep that in mind also. So that's my final thoughts on this. Maybe if everyone goes to my friend Zundabchef's YouTube page, link in the description, and request him to do a tutorial over his super efficient storage system that could actually contain this. So go to his page, subscribe. Go to my friend Dr. Jen Cyan's page and subscribe. If you're not following Slack Lizard, go to his page and subscribe. I'm not sure why you're not, but go there. He builds all my farms here lately. It's been an incredible boost to me. Let's see. Oh, Navy Nexus. He's the designer of the Trident Killer. Go to his page and subscribe. I guess that's it. Thank you for watching.